Hey there, guys, it's me, Just Go. Been wanting to do some more of this channel other than live stream re-uploads, so I thought of this series where I could just talk about whatever's on my mind and edit as little as possible. I didn't know what to put for backing footage, so I'll probably just have some badly bandicammed Binding of Isaac gameplay or some other shit I don't really know, I don't know quite yet. I'll try to get a capture card in the future, but yeah, hope you guys enjoy it. Productivity. I'm told that I'm rather good at it by a lot of people, but to be honest, the person I think disagrees with that statement more than anything is me. You see, I want to be productive 100% of the time. It's a good thing. If I'm productive, I can hang out with friends more, I can talk to people, play games, work on my hobbies, etc., but unfortunately, at least in my eyes, I'm kind of a fuckwit when it comes to actually getting stuff done. For example, my YouTube videos. Now, don't get me wrong, I love to do YouTube. You're watching this on a second channel where I'm simultaneously posting here and to my main because that's what I like to do. What I don't always like to do, however, is extensive editing. Most of the reason for that just comes down to back issues, to be fair. I'm not entirely sure where it comes from. I sleep on a reclining couch in my room every night, so that might have something to do with it. It might have to do with my slouching that I sometimes unconsciously do. For whatever the reason though, on occasion, when I'm deep into editing sessions for one of my videos, at least once or twice an hour, I feel the need to lay down for a second to catch my breath and relax. This time difference has gone down a bit since I got a new gaming chair, which I think does much better for my general support, but it still happens sometimes. And you might be thinking, Just Go, that isn't much time, you're just pacing yourself, it's alright. But no, it's not alright. Because while I'm relaxing, I usually think to myself, hey, I've got a few minutes, why don't I start watching an anime opening? And that's when it always goes downhill. I try to not do it as much when I'm relaxing in between editing sessions, since I pretty much know it will happen. But whenever I watch an anime opening, or I guess anything that's small and easily bingeable, I'll constantly say to myself, alright, this is gonna be the last one. After this, I'm done and I'm gonna get back to working. But that never is what happens. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 15 minutes, hell, on occasion I've seen myself go for a good 30 minutes watching anime openings or whatever else without even noticing the time go by. Obviously, this doesn't happen every hour or 2 hours I'm editing. If that were the case, I'd probably never get anything done, but the fact that I do it so often when I don't even mean to is a real problem for me. And I can't be forgetting all the times I've just not felt up for recording audio, but slugged on anyway, making a product I don't like and then either have to completely redo or just send it out as is. I eat and drink a lot of dairy products, mostly milk and cheese, and if you know anything about nurturing your voice for something, you probably know dairy is the bane of good vocals. Hell, I know this and have for a long time. The problem itself isn't usually as much about me not knowing what to do, but me not knowing when I need to do it. I try to keep a semi-consistent schedule for uploading videos when possible. Like, if I'm making a video in a week, which I've been really trying to cut back on because I think more often than not it kind of creates a lackluster product, I'll try to write the script starting Friday and maybe ending Saturday or Sunday if I haven't done any necessary research beforehand. I'll do the audio on Monday, and then I'll spend the rest of the week up to the following Friday editing. If it's 10 to 12 minutes, it usually isn't a big deal, and I can get it out to patrons early. But if it's 15 minutes or higher, the whole week is constant stress where I have to spend my time carefully. I can't have days where my voice just doesn't want to cooperate because it slows down the process I've gotten so used to. And even if I can still get the product done by my self-imposed deadlines or even before then, the stress never really leaves. I should also mention that during that week I spend a lot of time on other shit, such as being a junior in high school trying to graduate early and hanging out with friends. Oh, and of course procrastinating, so therefore time becomes way more important to me. And that's why I've generally moved away from weekly content and only came back to it for a while recently after my 5.5 hour Gintama video. Don't even ask me how I somehow managed that. Speaking of shit that can mess with my process, whether it's a video made in a week, 2 weeks, or even longer than that, I need to make a conscious decision about the media I'm going to consume and then talk about for a video. Sure, a movie is always a safe bet. At worst, it could be 3 hours long, more likely at most 2 since I talk about animated stuff a majority of the time, but also, I sometimes feel a greater sense of accomplishment when I talk about a TV show, and goddammit, TV shows can last a long-ass time. Specifically anime, which is something I discuss quite a bit, so if I want to make a video about something with a large amount of episodes, that's gonna take time not only to watch, but also write notes and timestamps for later down the line. It's not as simple as just watching the TV show passively, at least not if it isn't episodic. Say I'm talking about the specific plot details of a show and criticizing or summarizing parts of it. If I get that that wrong. The fans of that show are going to tear me to shreds in a second. So I need to make sure what I'm saying is correct using those notes I took before. And for longer series, taking all that alongside watching the episodes actively the entire time can potentially be an absolute pain, not to mention long. I can't always think like, yeah, I'm gonna do an in-depth review of Bleach in 2 weeks. That will never happen because it could take me upwards of a month to get through the process of watching and note-taking alone. I need to plan that shit, and more than that, I need to make sure it's something worth discussing for so long. If I talk about something no one knows for 30 minutes or longer, it's not gonna get too many viewers. And while views and money have never been the big focus for why I make videos by any means, not being rewarded at all for so much work can be discouraging, slowing the productivity I may have had for another project. Not to mention, I can have times where I'll watch a ton of shit for a show, and then I won't even have that much to say about it. If I watch 300 episodes of a series, and I can only make a 15-minute video out of it, I kinda consider that a net loss because it's the same length as something I could make in 1 or 2 weeks. And you know, the funny thing is, when it comes to stuff like school, I pretty much don't have this issue. I'm always on time with or even ahead of the schoolwork I need to do, I never forget homework or miss deadlines, I get straight A's in class, it's all pretty chill, everything considered. The worst it does is kinda slow down my process, but I've factored that shit into my process for multiple years now, so it doesn't really even apply as too much of a blocking factor. There are so many comments and DMs and emails where people ask me how it is that I can possibly handle video making in school at the same time, and like, I guess that's it. I just see YouTube and school as two separate entities as far as things go, never really intersecting. At worst, I might stay up later than normal to get something done and be a little late for school the next day since I have to drive myself, but really that's about it. And you know, as I'm going through all of this, you might be thinking that YouTube is some sort of horror show of a hobby or profession that'll have people constantly stressed, never talking to anyone, never doing anything, having to make all these decisions with their time and whatnot, but I don't want to act like that's the case. Sure, I have my personal gripes with trying to be productive, and most of it comes back to YouTube thanks to it being a major hobby that I like to put tons of time and effort into. But since YouTube is also kinda, and I don't really like to say this often, my job as well as my hobby, I'd say I have it really good. I can do something that just requires me to sit back and watch whatever I want, good or bad, from my gaming chair sofa, and write a review or rant about it, talk into my mic, edit that audio, edit the video portion together, and upload, a process that is a ton of fun depending on circumstances. I set the time for when I want to release videos and don't have to feel locked in by always struggling along the same daily, weekly, whatever kind of grind set. I can express my views and ideas clearly through what I make, and no one has creative control besides me, and of course I have an audience of people that want to check out whatever I'm making and actually enjoy it. Really, it's a fucking dream profession, and though I might get hate comments or whatever on occasion, it doesn't block out all the positive that comes from me doing it, and YouTube still doesn't overtake everything in my life, so I'm not chained down by any means. In the end, all I'm really saying with this video about productivity is that I have problems I face trying to be productive. You might not see or know that from just looking, but it's true. I get stressed sometimes from it and don't always know what to do to relieve all that, but I'm still definitely happy where I am. We all have different interpretations of what we consider productive. Hell, in some cases I might even see this video as procrastination, but as long as we try to make the most of it and maybe look at what we're doing through a different lens, problems of getting stuff done when you want doesn't seem like it's as much of a problem. I don't know if you guys want me to keep doing these thought-spilling videos with pretty much no editing and some random background footage, but you know, if you do, let me know, and I'll probably do more later. I've been Just Go, and have a day.